shake per day for a few days. Let the body adapt to it for maybe a week, 10 days, and then build up. But jumping right into 2 shakes a day for somebody who has not been taking protein at all could be a huge issue. The other one to keep in mind is protein is what we call hygroscopic. It draws water to it. And so it's very important to increase your fluid intake. If you're on a higher protein diet like this, you probably need 3 times as much water as you normally drink. Designing the meals. Well, we developed the plate look to make it understandable. Basically, we're after a 30-gram protein and our balance of 1-to-1 with carbohydrate and protein. And we sort of, over time, developed this educational pattern of the plate look. The plate look is very important to think about in terms of how you look at every single meal. So when you're going out to eat, you should be able to visualize that in front of you. What's also important about the plate look is it describes an eating pattern. You don't go out to a restaurant and they serve you a platter of bread first and you eat it, or chips. You have to start with eating the protein. Remember this morning, the first thing in the meal is the protein. You have to eat protein first. Before you put anything else in your mouth, you have to eat protein. Then you eat the smart carbs, vegetables, salads, and then you can have your first bite of carb. And you eat around the plate continuously. Basically, if you do that, you will also fill up at the right time. The satiety will kick in. But you can't go in and say, well, gee, I like the bread part first, I'm going to eat that, and I'll get around to the other. Okay? You have to do it in the balance that's created. Meal timing. Second thing we find is that people have hectic lives, and why aren't they being successful? Is because they have crazy lifestyles. They say, well, yeah, I usually try and eat it in the morning, but sometimes I'm so tired I don't get up till noon, or sometimes I went out the door and I don't remember until 2 in the afternoon. Yesterday I had dinner at 5, and the day before was at 10. If you're chaotic in your eating patterns, your metabolism will never set. Your body doesn't know what to expect. And when you're trying to limit calories, it's very important to be precise. In the book, we talk about having meals. Once you eat your first meal, you need to be about 4 to 5 hour intervals. Okay? And that's very important to be consistent. Timing in terms of the meals, one of the other questions I get is, well, my lifestyle, should I have the shake at the beginning of the day, or can I have a shake at the end of the day? That actually doesn't matter. If you get up and want to have dinner for breakfast, that's perfectly fine. You can have the shake for lunch and dinner. When during the day isn't the critical part, as long as the first meal of your day occurs within 2 hours, and it has 30 grams of protein. We designed the shake to fill that bill, no problem. If you want to have your big meal at noon, that's fine. Have your shake at night, that's fine. But once you start it, that's what you stick with. You can't say, well, I did that on Tuesday, but on Wednesday I had it the other way. Chaotic eating will defeat the diet. Portion control. Portion control, as I said this morning, we don't count calories because it's not an exact science. It's not worth it. But calories do count. Okay? It is about how many calories you eat, ultimately. And what we're doing is trying to use your body to help correct that. We're trying to use the protein and your muscles and metabolism to allow all your own mechanisms to control your appetite, as opposed to balance. You know? Not very many people can do that long term. And so basically you have to remember portion size. So I will hear people say, well, I had the shake for breakfast and I had the shake for lunch, but at dinner I went out and I had this 4,000 calorie dinner, right? And they say, well, I can't imagine why it's not working. And you know, it's all about portion control, and we have to be consistent and we have to target the right amounts. The Metabolic Life book basically gives us a lot of those guidelines. It gives you meal patterns, it gives you amounts of meals, it helps you to understand what those are. Again, one of the values of the shakes is they define it for you. It takes out all the guesswork. Shakes have 210 calories. There it is, no thoughts involved. You can mix it with milk and it makes it 310 or 320. No thought to it. You can mix it with half water and half milk and make it 220, 260. You know, you can figure out where in there you need to fall to allow yourself to lose weight. We usually find that women need to probably have it with water and stick around at 200. Most men can mix it with a milk and use it at 300 and still lose weight fine. One of the other things that we know is important in the overall satiety is the protein, but it's also the fiber content. Again, the plate look, those smart carbs are all designed to be high fiber. So when we're looking at satiety, we're doing two things. We have protein and carbs, which we're controlling, and we also have fiber, which is very important to the process. So that's sort of the overall portion control aspects. Drinks and snacks are another one that's really critical. One of the things when we were doing all our research that we would find is people would go all week and they were religiously following the diet. And they were getting the breakfast and the lunch and the dinner right, and they'd come in and they hadn't lost any weight at all. And I taught the dietitians that we were working with to start asking questions. And so I kind of buddied up to them. And they'd look at the diets and they'd start talking to them. And they'd say, wow, Super Bowl weekend, you guys have a party? Oh, yeah, we had 40 people over. Says, oh, what's your favorite group? Snacks. Oh, I love these bean dips. And, oh, I must have drunk at least the six-pack. I said, now where did that fit into the snacks? Basically, one of the things that we find is people will be good all week long, 6, 7 days, and then they'll go out on one meal, one night, and have a 250 or 2,500 calorie diet and defeat the entire week in one night. Once you commit to the process, there's no such thing as a food you can't have, which is always portion control, it's always moderation, it's always control. There's never a time where 6 beers really fits into the process.